Hello, I'm Dave and this is Logan, out once again for a walk in the New Forest. Thanks for joining us. Now today we're at a place called Pylewell Park. It's just a mile or two to the east of Lymington on the coast, and we're going to be doing a roughly 5.5 mile circular walk today. We'll start here on this magnificent shoreline, heading westwards, and then we'll head north, looking for the site of World War II airfield, and then we'll start heading eastwards through Pylewell Park, through the estate, past the terrific house, and then back onto the shoreline again. And we'll be doing a little detour to have a look at a very pretty little church. So do come along with us. Now, as you can see, I'm squinting in the sunshine. It's a glorious summer's morning, middle of July. The sun's out, a little bit of cloud about. Hopefully we should be okay for the rest of the walk, but it's perfect temperatures. And as I look out here across the Solent to the Isle of Wight, what a fantastic place to start the walk. Well, I parked my car in Tanner's Lane, which is right next to the shoreline, which is our starting point for the walk. And we've certainly got some great views already. I'll say our walk's going to take us in a westerly direction along the shoreline, but isn't that beautiful? That's the Isle of Wight over in the far distance. Quite a few yachts out on the Solent today, and just looking across, I can just about make out Hurst Castle and the White Lighthouse there, and there's the Isle of Wight ferry on its way out from Lymington, and then this is the shoreline here. This little bit of area in front of me here is a nature reserve called the Boldre Foreshore Nature Reserve. It's about 478 acres in total, owned by the New Forest District Council, but run by the Hampshire and Isle of Wight Wildlife Trust. Okay, well, let's start walking along here. Just looking at that tree there and the shape of it gives you an idea which is the most prominent wind around here. Southwesterly, of course. Now, it might be a little bit early in the morning for a dip. Oh, well, worth just checking it out for a paddle, perhaps when we finish the walk. Bit of exploration going on there. I think you're going to be okay with no fish in this close in. A nice gentle dip to start the walk. Well, it really is beautiful along here. Just got a little bridge to hop over. And this takes us over a little stream called Plummers Water that comes out of a lake. I'm not sure we're going to be able to see that part of the Pylewell Park Estate, but really is quite gorgeous this morning. The sun glinting off the sea. I can just see the back of a couple of New Forest ponies around the corner there, just reminding us that we are right on the edge of the New Forest. So they're getting right down to the shoreline to get some grazing done. Oh, it's a shame we can't quite see the lake in all its glory, because it's actually on the private land there. So it was part of the Pylewell Park Estate, constructed in 1822 on former marshy ground. Originally it had 3 islands, it might have 4 now. Anyway, we've still got a lovely walk. If I can just get underneath this tree and continue with our little circumnavigation around the shore. Now what we'll be going on very shortly as a permissive path rather than a public path, so there is access, and dogs are allowed, which is good news. It really is quite peaceful, and it's nice to see the Isle of Wight on a clear day. So often it can be quite hazy and misty, and I can just about make out the yachts and one of the Lymington marinas in the distance. Loads of butterflies around as well. Now at some stage we're going to join a path that's on the other side of that bit of barbed wire. I think it's just around here somewhere, hopefully. Otherwise we're going to have quite a damp walk. Oh yes, here we go. So this is the way we come off the shoreline and join a little footpath that's going to take us through some woods. Must be a good point just to tell you a little bit about the house, Pylewell House, because we're not going to see a huge amount of it. The park was originally an estate of 1,500 acres, and the earliest known settlement of Pylewell Estate is recorded in the Domesday Book, and it stood on the site of Baddesley Manor, just to the north of the present house, which is thought to have been occupied by a Knights Templar preceptory. That's a sort of monastery in the 12th century. Anyway, by the 17th century it may have been a fortified Jacobean lodge, and from 1609 Sir Richard Worsley occupied the Pylewell ground, and by 1677 the Worsleys, whose family seat was across the Solent on the Isle of Wight at Appuldurcombe, I think that's how you pronounce it, they had a house built here on the present site. And in 1870 there were some significant alterations with a new drive, which we'll see later on, and a lodge built in 1889. Anyway, that's the history of the house. We're going to continue along through this lovely little wooded area, which is giving us some shade. The sun's beginning to get quite a bit of heat into it now, so the shade is quite welcome. Well, we just made our way through that lovely piece of woodland. It was nice being in a shade. It was a little muddy, and one of us, well, as you can see, got a little bit yeah, I think you'll be having a bath when you get home. Right, okay, so we've entered what looks like a camping field, and the permissive path, just we follow along the side of it, and we're heading right into the far woods there. But just on the left hand side there's this little lagoon full of swans, and I saw an egret as well. Well, this is this really pretty meadow that we've walked through. The permissive path goes through it, and also trees out in full leaf this time of year. Sound of the birds twittering away. So just before we start heading north, we'll have one final look out. That's again Lymington over there, panning out. A few yachts now leaving the harbour, and now much easier to see Hurst Castle at the end of the spit there, and the yeah, I can just make out the Needles beyond that of the Isle of Wight. And then just one other thing to point out, I can make out in the middle of the Solent there's a structure, and I believe that's the starting platform for the Lymington Yacht Club, where they start the races from. We're now heading northwards through Well, we've got a bit of wood on one side and a nice firm path, and this is going to take us onto Sowley Lane. Oh, just looking at Logan there, definitely are going to have a dip in the sea at the end before we get back in the car, that's for sure. Well, just making my way along Sowley Lane, and I think I mentioned at the beginning that we were going to be looking for well, the remains of a Second World War airfield, and well, it was located just here, and it was an advanced landing ground, basically a temporary airfield. It was constructed in 1943, but it wasn't actually occupied until April 1944. So there were two runways. So just behind me here, this is well, the site of where the sort of west-east runway went, and then there was a sort of north-south runway as well. And they really were temporary. They just put down steel mesh that was pinned down with metal well, stakes really. And I think one of the runways also had something known as Summerfelt tracking, which was a type of pierced steel planking. Anyway, in April 1944, 3 squadrons from the 50th Fighter Group of the United States Army Air Force arrived. Something like 80 aeroplanes, Thunderbolts, P-47s. And well, basically they did a lot of sorties here in preparation for D-Day, but they weren't here for long, 10 weeks or so, and in June, or the end of June 1944, they all left to a new advanced landing ground in northern France, and the airfield was basically removed in 1945. I believe the Admiralty used the site for a little bit longer until 1946. But very peaceful now, but amazing to think at one stage there were something like 2,000 to 3,000 people here, crew and as well as the airmen and support staff and what have you. Now, just getting our bearings, if I just gradually turn around, this is Sowley Lane that we're in. Our route is now going to take us in that direction, which is to the east, but I'm going to make a slight little detour because there's a little bit more evidence on the airfield just further north from here, just north of Sowley Lane. There's a little footpath, looks like we're on the Solent Way, which is that 60-mile long distance path that goes from Emsworth in the east all the way through to Milford on Sea in the west. But this is what I was hoping to find, an information board. I'll just take away the the bracken. Right, so we are here. So this is Sowley Lane that we've come up, and there was the, well, it's more of a I said it was east-west, but it's more sort of pointing in a north easterly direction, isn't it? And then there's the runway here. And just stepping back, look, I'm pretty sure that's a bit of the steel mesh or steel pierced planking down there. And then just to the side, I wonder if that is a piece of the steel mesh that they use. I'm not 100% sure, but it could be. But it's great that there's still got a sort of memorial here that reminds us of the history of the place. So actually, let's have a little wander along this track and see if we can see anything else. Ah, yes, I thought so. So this is the sort of north-south runway. So that's looking to the south, obviously just fields now with the Isle of Wight in the background. But on the northern side of this little track, there is still a bit of grass runway, which I'm guessing is used as a little private airstrip. But then just panning round, there's the one remaining blister hangar. I think there were 5 blister hangars originally. It's nice to see that there's still one remain, obviously perhaps used. still today by the looks of things. It looks in good condition, doesn't it? But there we go, a little bit of history. Okay, well, so we're going to head back to that initial path, well, it's the Solent Way, and get back onto our original route. Another quite stunning view. This is looking north in the park. Another bountiful crop by the looks of things. Now, just in front of the trees over there, you can just about make out a brick building, and that's an old fuel store which dates back to the Second World War, related to the airfield. Well, earlier on in the walk I was telling you all about Pylewell House, and we were looking at the southern side. Well, that's the northern side, and this is as near as we can get to it on the public footpath that goes through the estate. It's now owned by a trust, and it's used for weddings, and I believe a penthouse is available for holiday breaks. And so there's the avenue of trees that border the main driveway into the house. Well, just to the northwest of the house is this really cute little cricket pitch. The club here was founded in 1865, and what a pretty little thatched pavilion. You can just imagine having your tea and cucumber sandwiches out on those seats in front on a lovely sunny Sunday afternoon, can't you? Just looking south through those trees there, another glimpse of one of the lakes in the park here. So it's so peaceful through here. All I can hear are birds, and when you think, well, just looking at my watch, it's now 11:15 on a Friday in July, and I've got the place to myself. I have not come across anyone else on this walk. Oh, I think I came across a cyclist on one of the lanes, but that's about it. Right, so there is an easier way to get through here. He's trying to work it out. Yeah, we are. Well done fella. Well, we're now very much on our homeward leg, just about to go into Sowley Lane and then back down Tanner's Lane, as we're overtaken by some cyclists. But we're going to say goodbye to the Solent Way. That carries on down there. In fact, we did do a walk in the past at Norleywood, where we came up that path and then turned down that lane. There's a lovely pub down there, the name escapes me. Oh, what a beautiful sight though here on the right, the that sort of almost lilac colour glinting in this glorious sunshine. Quite exquisite. Well, I'm now back in Tanner's Lane, heading back to the car and the shoreline. I'll be making sure that Logan has a quick dip in the sea before he gets back in the car, clean himself up a bit. But before we actually end the video, I'll show you a little bit of film footage that I've taken of the church at South Baddesley, which is just to the north of here. Well, just to the north of the Pylewell estate is a little hamlet of South Baddesley, and it's got a rather interesting little church which I thought was worth having a look at, and it's just behind me here. It's St Mary's Church, built in 1818, a cruciform plan with a nave and vestry to the south, and in 1858 the chapel became a parish church and a chancel and transept was added. But as you can see, it's got this very distinctive slender west tower. Well, just to the side of the church, as well as this, well, it looks like a seat with a cross made out of a tree stump. Just turning around now, hopefully you're going to be able to see this okay, because it is quite dark underneath the foliage, but a couple of well, it's a gate known as the Ken's Gate, and it's a memorial to a chap called Ken Allen. Yeah, I can see words Ken Allen on the left hand side and 1918 to 2005 on the right hand side. And he left a substantial legacy to form a trust, basically to advance the Christian religion, as well as help with repair and maintenance of the church. And this gate opens up to a path that provides a safe route from the school to the church. But now I'm guessing he was a keen gardener. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a looks like a garden spade and a pot with flowers on that side, and then just on the other side, what's that? Looks like a paintbrush and a paint pot. Perhaps that was his profession, I don't know. What a lovely little memorial. Well folks, we've come to the end of our walk. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do give us a thumbs up and a like, and do leave a comment. And if you haven't already done so, please do check out our Facebook page, Dave's Countryside Walks, and also do subscribe to the channel, then hopefully you'll be able to join us for another walk sometime in the future. We're off to find a nice cup of tea and a cake somewhere. So until we meet again, thanks for watching, and cheerio. Right. Now you clean behind your ears as well. Go on, good boy.